All right, everyone, welcome to this Monday Sidereal forecast for August 3rd. My name is Athen. So we have the moon shifting into Pisces here today, coming off that full moon last week. Certainly still in the full moon phase of this lunar cycle. So the energies are high, and anytime the moon goes into a very watery planet like Pisces during a full time like the full moon, usually tends to bring out more of the tangible, more of the external situations involved with it. So with Pisces in particular, this is where we might be feeling a little bit of that withdrawing kind of an energy. It's important at this time to communicate our feelings, and to be in touch with our feelings during this time will be very important. And our intuition can be heightened, so listening to that intuition when we are taking action and going about our day, so to speak. So that being said, it is a good day for spiritual things and will be for the next few days with this transit, whether it's meditation or otherwise, maybe some of that rest and relaxation, but it is this sort of mixed bag in terms of the energies moving forward, but then there's also this, this pause about it. And what I mean by that is particularly in the transits, because like I've been talking about, Jupiter has been squaring up to Saturn, and now that goes exact today. And it goes exact while at the same time Venus squares up to Saturn, Venus goes over Jupiter. So essentially what we have in the sky is we've got Venus going retrograde back over Jupiter, where she did at the beginning of July, beginning of last month. So now it's, the second contact is always about a reflection and learning something. It's usually intellectual, and when we start to get something or understand something about the transit. So here it's a reflection of our values. It's also a reflection of the things that we are expressive about, which is Leo, the things that we're passionate about. And all of that has been going a sort of expansion with Jupiter here. So now Venus going over it, again, just like when she went over the first time, we can feel quite good with this transit, but it's more of the internal, like I was saying, especially with Pisces, the withdrawing kind of feeling good, or at least feeling optimistic or buoyant about things like values and relationships. Now, today, we're more than likely not going to feel that as much. Again, it just does depend on your personal chart. But the reason I say that for all of us is because Saturn is squaring up to this position. So that makes everything very serious, makes things, very almost analytical too. And so it's very important too that it is an important time to reevaluate our values, reevaluate our relationships as well, especially with Venus retrograde. So the key here is to see things for how they are in this area and be willing to make any changes and take any actions. This is seen from that square energy, and just not going to any extremes with it, which might be seeing, the negative side of things, or being too cold. Sometimes can be the case with relationships with this kind of transit, or feeling cold, feeling isolated. Again, it just depends. But the best way to work with this is to see and do that evaluation and use this period, but then take action, especially when it comes from that long-term energy of Saturn. How can we bring in more of this, patience and maturity, really, with our values? And again, this can be finances, it can be anything tangible or even non-tangible. But how can we really step into that mature, grounded approach, which is Saturn? And especially with Saturn squaring up to Jupiter, this is all about slow and steady growth. So I've been saying, continuously expand with this transit. However, it's just take it slow. Don't rush anything. It's very important with this. And through that, what you'll find is not rushing into any decisions. There is this slow and steady growth and expansion that is happening. It will continue to happen this week, but it's coming from this patience and limited energy of working with that with Saturn. So that being said, Saturn is direct here today, finally moving forward. So a lot of the stuff that maybe we were reflecting on or that wasn't going through over the past 5 months in relation to things like productivity, or things like, a certain direction and taking that initiative and things even too, because Saturn is those long-term goals. All of that can certainly start to move forward as we unfold throughout this week. So the key of this week is certainly the fact that Saturn is squaring up to this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. So using this time, using this wisdom that Jupiter's showing us about these values, about our self-expression, passion, fun, playfulness, and how to get serious with that. And it's an interesting paradox, but whenever Saturn aspects such a playful, fun-hearted location like Leo, it is for our long term. It's for that long-term growth, and it's that again, mature approach to having enjoyment in the long term. So maybe not focus too much on the short-term gratification, but really seeing down the road with that. That's what Saturn does best. So that's going to be the highlights in the early time period. A lot of this Piscean energy that I was talking about, especially with the intuition or spiritual things today, can be quite healing in the morning if that's a part of your routine there. And then the moon does trine up to Mars and Saturn, so there is support coming in for energy and action. And again, so it's that slow and steady approach, I think, can actually go quite nicely when we are going with the flow and tapping into that Piscean energy here today. And then the late evening, this will be pretty late for most of us. There is that releasing of the South Node in Pisces, which is allowing things to go from the, extremes of Pisces, which can be old ideas, old ideals, things of that nature. All right, everyone. So have a nice day. So I did just recently put out a new video for Mastering the Zodiac. If you haven't checked that out, I'll put a link up above for that. It's using different sidereal positions, so you might notice that your signs are changing slightly. So what I'm going to do is with the next videos and the weeklies and monthlies, I'm going to be tailoring to that. So continue to watch the past weeklies with the sign that you were familiar with before, because that'll be the most accurate. But coming this week with the weeklies, I'll be changing those things. So do check out that video, and I'll put a link for that above. So have a nice one, everyone, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.